Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley.
I'm Mica.
Hey, stop the presses, everyone. We got a hot take on our hands. Is Electronic Arts a den of corporate monsters?
Ooh.
It is not just the internet. There's also a developer saying it. He's claiming that a publisher tried to kill his studio, the studio behind Project Cars, and used some kind of dirty tricks to do so.
In an extremely candid interview, to say the least.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, CEO Ian Bell of Slightly Mad Studios says that EA is not the greatest company to work for. Then he went on a tirade against the publisher, saying that they tried to destroy his studio and called them every dirty bad name in the book.
Wait, is he EA's spouse?
It's not the first time we've heard a developer talk trash about EA, but this interview was definitely one of the, meanest.
Well, look, it was pulling no punches.
Yeah.
So a little bit of background here. The story involves a British developer called Slightly Mad Studios, which is very well known for their racing games and simulators. In 2009, they released Need for Speed Shift under the EA banner, and then Shift 2 Unleashed 2 years later.
Both of those games were pretty well received by the critics, but apparently the studio's relationship with EA turned sour. In an interview with YouTuber named Spot the Aussie, Bell talked about why a third Shift game never came about. Around the time of Shift 2, Bell said that EA came to him and said, "Can we give you $1.5 million if you agree not to talk to any other publishers, to agree to any other games, or work on any other arrangement with any other publisher? And we'll give you $1.5 million and we'll sign Shift 3.
So Bell agreed to that, but the deal apparently ended up fizzling, and EA canceled Shift 3 2 weeks before the studio was going to start work on it.
That left the studio in a bad financial situation, and then things apparently got really shady with EA. Bell said that after canceling Shift 3, EA then tried to hire away his staff to come work for the publisher directly. So basically, he's saying that EA tried to kill his company and then picked over its bones.
Bell said, "We were in trouble, we had nothing left, we were done. They literally destroyed our company. They tried to kill us, and they tried to steal our technology as well."
Wait, they tried to take their tech too?
Oh yeah, they came for the games.
God.
I said nothing, and then they came for the check, and I said,
Yes, Bell said they tried to take the underlying technology behind his company's games, but he managed to outsmart the bastards.
Ooh.
Before he signed with EA, Bell said he transferred his company's tech to a separate entity, thereby putting it out of EA's reach.
Clever girl.
Bell said in the YouTube interview, "They tried to fuck us over. There is no other way to put it. That's what they tried to do. And we have no love for EA in this company." Oh, and he called them assholes and corporate monsters.
Well, damn.
So just in case you were wondering how he felt about the whole thing.
Bell said he managed to save the company after he remortgaged his house and eventually hired back his staff who had left for EA. And they're back on their feet now, with Project Cars 2 set to come out on Friday.
What a timely interview.
Right? And needless to say, it's under a different publisher, Bandai Namco, who also published the first Project Cars game.
So while things ultimately turned out okay for this developer and this studio, it's not the first time EA has been accused of killing off a studio. In fact, a lot of gamers think of it as kind of their legacy now.
Ooh.
The publisher has often been accused of acquiring smaller developers, chewing them up, spitting them out. Back in 2009, EA shut down Pandemic Studios, which made the first 2 Star Wars Battlefront games, and about 200 people lost their jobs in that case.
And anyone remember Origin Systems?
Not anymore.
Back in 1992, the olden days, the Austin-based developer, which created the legendary Ultima and Wing Commander franchises.
Both very well known, very beloved franchises. Just ask Ryan Haywood.
Those two it was acquired by EA, and everyone celebrated and said EA's cash would lead to a ton of cool new games.
How'd that go?
Yeah, a few years later, after Ultima 9 sold poorly, EA canceled all of Origin's development projects, and the company was dead a few years later.
And if you're thinking, hey, look, it's just 2 examples.
Right.
They've got lots of good ones too, right? Well, EA has bought and shut down a lot more. Short list of the others: Maxis,
Ouch.
Mythic, Bullfrog, Westwood, Phenomic, Black Box, and Playfish. And they didn't actually own Rogue Entertainment, but I remember back in the old days of 2000 when American McGee's Alice came out, and they were gonna work on a console port. EA canceled the console port, and that studio almost immediately went under. Actually very similar to what almost happened here with the Project Cars developer.
Yikes. So yeah, this thing has been going on for kind of a long time. Lots of publishers will close studios or subsidiaries after a game bombs. BioWare Montreal, which made Mass Effect Andromeda, was merged into another company, EA Motive, after Mass Effect Andromeda sucked. Oh, that was EA too. So
Yeah,
just
there you go,
racking up
another
the
one.
body count.
But EA is not the only company that does this. Activision also has a long history of shutting down companies. Let's do another list. Why not? Shut down Sierra Entertainment, Shaba Games, Red Octane, Underground Development, Radical Entertainment, Bizarre Creations, just to name a few.
Of course, some of this is just the dark side of game development. A big parent company like EA or Activision can bring lots of cash to your game, but with that comes a lot of oversight as well. And if your game flops, it's a pretty safe bet that your studio won't be around to make another one. That's a big reason why some devs like CD Projekt Red try their best to stay independent rather than get omnommed by a big conglomerate.
Yeah, honestly, video game development is such a risky industry.
Yeah.
You hear a lot about like greedy game developers who want more money, and microtransactions are a concern, and DLC and all that. But a lot of these developers also just have to stay afloat somehow. Otherwise, well, they end up on the long list of the dead.
And mortgaging their houses.
Yes. And now, in the case of Slightly Mad Studios, it definitely does sound like there are some lingering hard feelings over the whole thing. Yes, a little bit hard. But these ones at least landed on their feet, so at least one survives. In the same interview, Bella hinted they might be at work on a future game based on the Fast and Furious franchise. He put it kind of cryptically, but it was made fairly obvious what he was talking about.
Here's what he said. Guess what the latest Need for Speed is doing? And they have a think about which Hollywood film they're copying, and then I can tell you that we have a 6-year deal with that major Hollywood company to make games that will beat what Need for Speed is currently doing for the next 6 years.
So, I wonder what that could be.
It's a mystery.
It's the Need and the Speediest. Okay, so yeah, it looks like Bell Studio is probably gonna be fine, especially if their game is anywhere near as successful as Fast and the Furious movie, because those go crazy.
Wow.
But for a lot of studios, their acquisition by a big publisher doesn't have a happy ending. You know, you've got your Dices, and then you've got your Westwoods.
So what do you guys think about Ian Bell's comments or about EA, Sour Grapes, or does he have a point?
Is any of this a surprise?
Did any of those developers hit you in the heart? Do you remember those old, sad, dead game devs?
Yeah, I do.
Let us know in the comments.
And for all your video game news, including which studios are dead next, which ones are shut down, which ones survive, be sure to like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the Know.
Sierra Games and Maxis got me.
Oof, Sierra.
Oh.
Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley.
I'm Mica.
Stop the presses, folks. We got a hot take. Is electronics? Damn it. Is electronics? Well,
Can we give you $1.5 million if you agree not to talk about